What's going on, guys? It's Slow from UDG. So Final Fantasy has been a big thing in my gaming life, I guess you could say, and it's kind of why I'm pretty hyped about Final Fantasy 15. So today we're going to count down the top 5 favorite Final Fantasies in it's my opinion. That's the only real thing I have to say about this, so please don't get super upset if, like, say for example, your favorite Final Fantasy doesn't make this top 5 list. You know, everyone's got their own different opinions what their favorite Final Fantasy is, so don't get, you know, super butthurt, I guess. I'm gonna say that for pretty much all of the top 5s I'm going to be doing throughout the month. So anyway, so there's a lot of Final Fantasies I've played throughout my life, but I think I can at least squeeze in an honorable mention. So why don't we go ahead and start off with the honorable mention. So first things first, I just have to say this would have easily made number 6. Hell, probably could have made number 5 if it wasn't for something that's gonna be a little bit higher onto the list, and you'll see what it is in a little bit. But all I gotta say first off is Crystal Chronicles. What Crystal Chronicles is about is the world is filled with miasma, and you know, pretty much they call it villagers, like warriors that pretty much have to go through the world and find the crystal trees that only refill every year, and so to instead of that they have to, or is it every 3 years? I don't remember, but pretty much as the adventurers like you are, you have to go out and find these said crystal trees and get the drops so they can keep their village safe for another year. Not every is like what's really cool about this is the lore is really fun. The gameplay is even more fun, and it's just an all-around great Final Fantasy game. And I just the fact that it's probably it's on the GameCube is probably why it just did not get very much attention, and it's a very underrated game. So if you haven't played it yourself, go check it out. It's a great game. Anyway, that's it for my honorable mention. Let's go on to number 5. Final Fantasy VI. Yes, I'm putting this at number 5. So the thing about Final Fantasy VI, it was a very enjoyable game. The lore was very good. The characters were very lovable. I enjoyed every minute of the characters. I mean, there's not really much to say too much about Final Fantasy VI, except for the fact that it was a fantastic game. It wasn't one of my first games I played, but it's been one of the more recent ones I've played, and it's been very enjoyable. If you haven't picked it up, I recommend you pick that one up. Same thing with, I'm gonna say that with pretty much almost all of them, probably, even with my honorable mention, as you heard before. But anyway, I don't really think there's very much more to say about Final Fantasy VI. I haven't really finished Final Fantasy VI, but from what I've played through it, it's very enjoyable, and I definitely would put it as number 5. Maybe a little bit higher if I've played it a little bit more. But that's enough about Final Fantasy VI. Let's go on with number 4. Final Fantasy X ended up being the first Final Fantasy on the PS2, and arguably is probably one of the best. It's really hard to say it wasn't a great game. I mean, there are much better Final Fantasies in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, but there's kind of a reason why it's here in my number 3 spot. You know, it's just got it's got good graphics for a PS2. It's got great lovable characters and great scenes like this. But in all joking aside, this has to be one of the greatest games out there. I wouldn't say one of the greatest games. But it's definitely a fantastic game. It definitely earns my number 3 spot. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got really much to say for Final Fantasy X. So why don't we go ahead and get on to my number 2 spot. Final Fantasy VIII always seems to get a very bad rep, or as some people say, bad storyline, I guess. I'm not really sure why people think it's such a bad game, but I think it's a fantastic game. It's got great story, great characters, and for PS1 it was very ahead of its time when it came to graphics. I mean, if you look at Final Fantasy IX, it's also ahead of its time too. But Final Fantasy really does kind of get a bad rep for, as they could say, it's a bad game. But I don't know. Either way, I think I'm talking a little too much about Final Fantasy VIII. I mean, you understand the reasoning why it's here. Either way, let's go ahead and get on to the number 2 spot, shall we? So World of Final Fantasy is a very recent game, but I think I'm safe to say this game has taken my heart away. This game is absolutely funny, it's hilarious, it's got great characters, and a very great storyline. I just really feel like, that Square Enix is really stepping up their game, and I really like this whole, how they're kind of going into a more newer style, into the ATB style. And I've always been a huge fan of the ATB combat system of the game, so seeing them coming back to this is obviously going to catch my attention, and it's going to get me excited to play this game, and I just cannot praise this game more than enough. The only reason this is only at the number 2 spot though is just the fact that there's another game that's always been at my heart when it came to Final Fantasy, and it's the game I've always put in that number 1 spot. If you ever asked me, this would be the game. So enough about World of Final Fantasy. If you wanted to know if World of Final Fantasy is great, is like fantastic, I'm actually going to do a video for it tomorrow. Either way, why don't we go ahead and enough about that. We'll go ahead and get to the number 1 spot. Final Fantasy Tactics has been 100% always been my favorite Final Fantasy. It just has probably one of the best storylines out of the whole game. The characters are amazing, the job system is awesome. You know, it's all around just a game that was more or less ahead of its time, and I just can't praise it enough. This game is absolutely amazing, and like, if you haven't played this, I definitely telling you right now, pick this up right now. Go get an emulator, pick this game up and play it. I swear to God, you will not be disappointed. If you're a guy that loves storyline, that loves character design, you will love this game. I have always loved this game, every minute of it. From, like, hell, even one of my favorite Final Fantasy character is from this game. I'm not gonna say who it is right now because, you know, I don't want any spoilers for any possible top 5s I might do later down the road. But do expect that. Oh, excuse me. But I really can't praise this enough. It's a fantastic game. It's got great storyline, great characters, and so on and so forth. But that is going to do it for me today, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new. But I'm Slora from UDG. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.